My youngest two children have birthdays one day apart, and this summer my daughter turned 12 and my son turned 9. For the last few years, we have opted to take that whole week off as a vacation. Last year, it was more of a staycation in Dallas and Fort Worth. This year, it was Colorado. We made it home in time for my son's birthday, but we wanted to do something really special on my daughter's actual birthday in Colorado. After some research and getting approval from the whole family, we opted to spend her special day taking the Cog Railway to the top of Pikes Peak. We were already in Colorado for the first part of our trip. I talked about that in my last video, and you can watch it right here. So after that, we drove 2.5 hours south to Colorado Springs to make the Pikes Peak dream happen. We spent 2 nights and 1 very full day, and a birthday dinner of pot stickers and bao buns and a mermaid cupcake from the grocery store because that's what she asked for. And by the end of this video, I am going to tell you what our entire Colorado trip cost us, all of the stops, all 6 days, all 5 of us. But first, I want to tell you about the day, because there are things I wish I had known before we went, and there were a few decisions that we made beforehand that I would make exactly the same way again. Just a quick note, if you're planning a trip like this or any trip and you want a simple way to set money aside without derailing your regular monthly budget, the free spreadsheet that I use is linked in the description. Put in your email address and the spreadsheet will come straight to your inbox. Okay, back to Colorado. Before I get too into the logistics, I have to tell you about the shirts. I love a matching family shirt, and sometimes my family goes along with me. So I designed custom matching shirts for the whole trip. I love a matching shirt, and I'm thankful that they oblige most of the time. I did get their approval before the trip, and thanks to a little shipping delay, we actually ended up with 2 sets of shirts, 4 shirts for each of us. For the Rocky Mountain National Park portion, we had Rocky Mountain National Park shirts. Forest green, really beautiful. And for Pikes Peak, I made each person their own unique shirt. My daughters said turning 12 at 14,115 feet, no big deal. My husband said, I've Pikes Peaked. My 14-year-old said, 14,115 feet, moderately impressed. And my youngest son, who just turned 9, his shirt said 14,115 feet of talking and snacks. Mine said, haven't peaked yet. We wore them on the train and up to the top of Pikes Peak. And I'll tell you, they were worth every bit of effort. Not just because of the photos, although those were great, but because it made something special for just us. It belonged to the trip. It was like a souvenir. That's the kind of thing that costs less than any shirt we could buy at a gift shop. We got to Colorado Springs the afternoon before my daughter's birthday, and we went straight to Garden of the Gods. If you've never been, it's completely free, and it is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been. Our kids love it. We were there 4 years ago as well. It is enormous red rock formations against the clear blue Colorado sky. My kids were climbing on rocks and we were taking photos, and no one wanted to leave. We went twice, once that first afternoon and then again in the morning. The afternoon was a little busier and we parked at the visitor center and walked across to the park. It was an easy walk, but it was a busy afternoon. Still gorgeous. The second time we went early in the morning on our way to Pikes Peak. We were able to park right at the park, walk around. It was peaceful and it was much more quiet than the afternoon. If you go, I recommend going in the morning. It's quieter, it's more peaceful, it's less crowded, and it's much cooler. One of the best things we did on the entire trip was Garden of the Gods, and it was completely free. My daughter's birthday started at Garden of the Gods. We got there early enough. It was still quiet. We walked around. We took photos. The kids climbed and climbed and climbed. We went back to the condo for a little snack because what I know after years of being a mom is that kids need food, especially if we're going on a 3-hour train adventure at altitude. So I made sure everyone had eaten first. Then we drove to Manitou Springs. Manitou Springs is a small, charming town at the base of Pikes Peak. We parked, and you have to pay for parking. It was $25 for the 5 hours we were in town. We walked straight to Rocky Mountain beignets. My daughter had been asking for beignets for her birthday, and there just so happened to be a place right there. So we got beignets. We were covered in powdered sugar. It was perfect. We've been to Café du Monde many times, and these were just as delicious, even though the experience wasn't quite as cool as the French Quarter. Then we took the free shuttle from town to the Cog Railway station. Here's something that I want to tell you because I did not do this the right way. We were so worried about being late to the train that we got there about 45 minutes too early. And we ended up at the train station where there was nothing to do. Our timed departure was at 12:40, and there was very little space at the station and not a lot to do. If I were to do it again, I would stay in town a little bit longer and then take the shuttle up to the train station. You do want to be there about 20 minutes before your timed departure in order to give you time to board. Be sure to book your tickets as early as possible. We booked ours several months in advance, and I'm really glad that we did. We booked seats on the left side of the train because the railway goes up and comes back the same way, so you have a gorgeous view up and back. We had 3 seats facing 3 seats, and it felt like our own little compartment. The seats are very close together, but it really worked out well for us to have that area just for us. The ride is about an hour up and an hour back with about 40 minutes at the top, which is plenty of time to use the restroom, walk around outside, take some photos, check out the museum, the gift shop, maybe get something to eat, and then get back on the train. There are a few things that I wish someone had told me before we went up. The top is cold, and I knew it was going to be cold, but it was much colder than I thought. It was very windy, and it was about 40 degrees cooler up there. We had brought rain jackets because it was drizzling in town, and we didn't want to carry rain jackets and hoodies, so we thought, we'll just bring the rain jackets. This was a mistake. Bring the hoodies. Don't assume that the light jacket that you wore at the bottom is enough because it's so windy and cold at the top, even in June. The altitude at the top is tough. Drink lots of water all day leading up to going to the top of Pikes Peak. Drink more water than you think you need, but also remember there's no bathroom on the train, and you'll be in the train for an hour up and an hour back. So plan accordingly before you board. I did not realize how beautiful and strange it would be to be at the top of Pikes Peak. We were above the tree line and above the clouds. When we rode back down, it was so peaceful that my youngest fell asleep with his head on my lap, and my oldest took a time-lapse video of the train ride back down, which was kind of cool. When we got back to Manitou Springs, we drove back to the condo to have a dinner celebration for my daughter. My daughter really wanted pot stickers for her birthday dinner, but my boys don't like pot stickers. So we made pot stickers and bao buns and salad and frozen pizza for the boys because they just are who they are. No restaurant, no waiting for a table, and no bill at the end. We were in our pajamas, and after a long week, it was so nice to be comfortable. That was her birthday dinner, and she loved it. Afterward, the kids watched the latest episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, and all 3 of my kids loved it, while my husband and I were left feeling old and confused. Let me say something about our choice to eat at home. It wasn't a compromise. We didn't eat at the condo because we couldn't afford to go out. We ate at the condo because that's what was best for all of us. She wanted pot stickers, but the boys wanted frozen pizza. And she had all of her people around her. No one was complaining. Everyone was comfortable, and we were happy. Everyone got what they wanted, and we were all able to wear our jammies, which was amazing. It was just perfect. The Cog Railway was $386.75 for our family of 5. That was a bit of a splurge, but we decided it was the right thing because it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for us. Everything else that we did was free or really close to it, so it felt like a reasonable expense. Garden of the Gods was free. Birthday dinner was groceries. Beignets in Manitou Springs cost us $18. And that's how we travel. We decide once what's worth spending on, and then we don't spend on the things that just aren't worth it for us. Okay, I promised you the full picture. So here it is. On our trip up, we spent the night at Longmont before Rocky Mountain National Park, and we spent about $140. Our hotel in Longmont the night before Rocky Mountain National Park was $140. YMCA of the Rockies for 2 nights plus all of our meals was $183. Our Colorado Springs Airbnb was 2 nights for $483.78. Gas for our truck for the whole trip was $285.68. Food for all 6 days was $222.10. Our guide-along for Rocky Mountain National Park was $17.99, and the Cog Railway tickets for all of us was $386.75. So total, 6 days in Colorado, 2 different cities, a national park, beautiful hiking, and a birthday at the top of Pikes Peak, $1,719.30. That's about $344 per person, or just under $290 a day for the whole family. We came home with no debt, no financial regret, no credit card to pay off over the next 3 months. We came home with some of the best memories and some beautiful time together and great photos. That's what this planning makes possible. Not a perfect trip. It was not a perfect trip, but it was a real one with real money decisions made before we left so that we could be completely present once we got there. I have been setting money aside for this trip in a vacation bucket for months. Not always the same amount each month, but consistently money each month went into this bucket long before we booked anything. By the time we left the driveway, the budget was already set. We weren't making financial decisions on the road. We'd already made them. That's what this free budget spreadsheet does. Click the link in the description and it will come straight to your email. It has a section specifically for this, for building toward trips, for moments that matter, so that nothing has to go on a credit card and nothing catches you off guard again. Click the link in the description, drop in your email, and it'll come straight to your inbox. And if you missed the first part of our Colorado trip, the YMCA of the Rockies, $183, hiking, trails, that video is right here.